What is going on? I'm a state certified driving instructor. I teach teens and adults. Today, our topic, our learning target is why teens struggle with driving. I want to go ahead and welcome you in. If you have questions, you go ahead and put those in. I'm going to give you examples and help you understand. Limited night driving experience. When you teens first learn how to drive, you're not really going to go out at night. Not because you're scared, but because you don't know what's going on. Here's an example. Sarah, a new driver, rarely practices driving at night. As a result, when she finally gets out there, she struggles because of the headlight glare coming in her eyes, and it's difficult for her to judge distance, so she feels unsafe. So what you need to do, you need to have your instructor maybe set up a night drive. You need to have your mom and dad come out with you for that first drive so you feel safe. Let's go to another example. Handling highway driving. Usually around drive 3 or 4, we take clients on the road. This is including teens and adults. So let's talk about this. Example, John finds highway driving intimidating. Not because John is scared, it's a new experience due to the high speeds and the need for quick decision making. When merging or changing lanes, he lacks practice at highway speeds, and this leaves him feeling anxious. One of the things that I always get asked, how do I drive on the freeway? How do I reduce anxiety? It's called gradual exposure. So what you need to do, again, you have your uncle, you have your mom, you have your dad, you have your cousin who has some experience. Hey, Unc, can you take me out on the highway? This is my first time out. I'm not feeling really comfortable. Over time, with gradual exposure, you will do better. It takes time. Here's another example. What is our learning target for success? Why teens struggle with driving. I'm a state certified driving instructor. Testing is in progress. I want to welcome you in. If you have questions, you go ahead and put those in. Roundabout navigation. As of late, there are roundabouts all over the world. So what do we need to do? We as instructors, we need to take our clients on roundabouts so you know what to do. So I'm going to explain it to you. Emily encounters a roundabout for her first time, and she's unsure about yielding and how to properly exit, causing confusion and near collisions with other vehicles. What do? You need to have your mom, your dad, your caregiver go through the process with you. If you are learning how to drive, and many of you like my content because I'm a state certified driving instructor and I talk about teaching you how to drive, make sure you're going through roundabouts. You need to yield to traffic that is already in the roundabout. And once you yield to traffic, then you proceed through. If you're making a right turn, you turn on your blinker. Right is down, left is up. A lot of beginners forget that. And you yield to traffic. Next, parking challenges. Oh my God, this is so fun. Parking is very overwhelming to all of us, but particularly beginning drivers. I got what you need. Michael struggles with parallel parking. Heck, who doesn't struggle with parallel parking? Your mom and dad struggle with parallel parking. Even I struggle with parallel parking sometimes. So let's be honest. When you're parallel parking, you are maneuvering your vehicle in tight urban spaces. You're often misjudging the distance. You might get up on the curve. You might be too far away. And these angles can be very overwhelming. This leads to parking improperly or even bumping into cars. You, when you're learning how to parallel park, have your instructor, tell your instructor, can you please take us to a downtown area so we can work on parallel parking so I can understand how to pass my test. What is our learning target for success? It is why teens struggle with driving. I'm a state certified driving instructor. Testing is in progress. I want to welcome you in. Next, let's talk about school zone awareness. Guys, ladies, school is out. Whew, I got a 4.0. Congratulations. But let's talk about school zones for a minute. Example, Jessica forgets to slow down in school zones. We always talk about this. Jessica, slow your roll. And is unaware of the reduced speed limits, right? And the presence of children crossing. As a result, this puts herself at risk and others. Slow down. Take your time, Jessica. Be patient. Many times, instructors are at the school when school is out, and in some lessons, we drive right from the parking lot. Take your time. A tip for you is slow down. Be patient. Wait till everyone leaves. Then you can practice your parking, your angle parking, your stall parking, your parallel parking in an area that you feel safe in. Hi, guys. I want to say hi to all of you. Put your questions in. What is our learning target? Why teens struggle with driving? I'm a state certified driving instructor. This is me. Testing is in progress. I want to welcome you in. How do you do a 3-point turnaround into a driveway? Well, you want to aim for the driveway. You want to look where the driveway is. If you look at the curb, you're going to hit the curb. If you look at the car, you're going to hit the car. Aim at the driveway, pull up in a half, put it in reverse, cover your brake. And anxiety is a common thing. We all are learning how to drive. And it takes time because this is unfamiliar to you. So all of you who have anxiety, it's normal. It's called gradual release. You gradually want to be exposed to these environmental factors, parking lot, downtown driving, parallel parking. It takes time. But don't worry. I'm here to answer your questions, and I want you to do well. You've got to learn to drive through your neighborhood, making 12 right turns, 12 left turns, checking traffic before you pull out. You're going to do light driving at first. You're not going to go on the main roads. You're going to drive in your neighborhood. You're welcome. I need you to share with this everyone else. Let's continue. Reading traffic signs. Mark misinterprets yield and stop. We know that intersections are one of the most confusing things for beginning drivers. All of you need to listen. Happy Father's Day. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you, all of you. So we know that road signs, people struggle. Beginner drivers struggle. You might confuse a yield for a stop. You might yield and then you stop. You might stop, then you yield. And then it looks like you're rolling a stop sign. What I need you to do is calm down, breathe, and don't hesitate at intersections. And this disrupts the flow of traffic. What does this mean? You stop when you're supposed to yield, and cars are like, da, da, da. You're like, oh my God, I didn't mean to do that. Take your time. Gradual exposure. Let's talk about inadequate defensive driving. I'm a big advocate of defensive driving. Hey, what is our learning target for success? Why teens struggle with driving? I'm a state certified driving instructor. Testing is in progress. I want to welcome you in. You put in your questions. I'm going to answer those questions. Let's keep going. So we're dealing with traffic jams. Example, Chloe panics when she struggles and gets stuck in traffic. I understand this. You panic. You're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Gradual exposure. Take your time. And she's unsure how to stay calm. Relax. Roll down your window. Take one step at a time. Cover your brake. Next, social distractions. We all live in a social world. I'm a social person. You're a social people. Let's talk about this. Example, Jake is driving with his friends and gets distracted when their conversation, laughing, causing him to miss red lights and narrowly avoid an accident. What I need all of you to do is tell your friends, can you please support me? I'm learning how to drive. Keep your conversations down low so I can focus on driving, because driving needs to be your number one situation. What is the point of a permit? Driver's education was originally designed to teach beginners like you, 14 to 34 or 44, how to drive properly. You're learning about road signs. You're learning about parking. You're learning about defensive driving. You're learning about maintenance. Those students who wait till they're 18 or 19 or 20, you're missing a really important element in the developing of your maturation process. What does this mean? You wait to 18 or 19, you drive for 30 days, you don't understand driving, and it takes 10 years. Why? Because your brains are developing. It takes up to 10 years, 23, 24, 25, until your brain is fully developed. So you need to be going into a structured driver's education program, fun instructors, learning how to drive, learning how to be a defensive driver, learning how to do car maintenance, learning how to change a flat tire, to prepare you for roundabouts, adjustable road conditions, road signs. It is very overwhelming, but I'm going to help all of you one step at a time. So that's why you need to get your permit. You need to practice with your mom or dad or one of your caregivers. What is our learning target for success? Why teens struggle with driving? And that question, G, is why you struggle with driving, because you need practice. At the permit phase is when you practice. You drive in your neighborhood. You drive from home to school. You drive from school to the mall. You drive from the mall home. You drive from the mall to your uncle's house. You drive from the mall to your auntie's house. And then you tell your parents, Mom and Dad, I'll be home about 4:30. And then you get a little bit of exposure of driving in heavy traffic. You need to get your permit. Let's continue. Understanding insurance policies. Very interesting topic. Let's talk about this. I need you to understand Dave is confused about his car's insurance policy and the details of what to do in case of an accident. This leads to stress in a minor collision. Here's what you need to do. What is our learning target? We're talking about why teens struggle with driving. I'm a state certified driving instructor. Testing is in progress. I want to welcome you in. Well, the first thing you need to do is pull over to the side, get the cars off the road. Next, I need you to take a picture of your license plate, their license plate, a picture of the damages. You need to exchange information, telephone number, driver's license, permit, and call the law enforcement so they can identify who's at fault. The insurance company will not fix your vehicle until they identify who's at fault. You have to have a police report, and they're usually digital. The officer will come, examine everything, he or she will examine everything, and then they'll digitally put it together, and they will send you the report and the ticket, whoever's at fault. And whoever's at fault, you will get points, your insurance will go up. So you need to educate yourself about insurance. It's so important. Next, let's talk about interacting with pedestrians. Example, Lucas is unsure about the right-of-way rules. Do you hear a pattern here? Intersections, right-of-way, yield sign, stop sign. All of you who are taking time to watch this, you're confused with yield. You want to slow down. That's what yield means. Stop means you stop completely. You don't move. So what I need all of you to do is take a moment and breathe. Stop, S-T-O-P. It's a red sign with white letters. Stop completely. You look left. You look right. You look left. If clear, then you proceed. Next. So you're dealing with pedestrians. You feel awkward and you feel weird because pedestrians are walking in front of you. Remember, this is driver's education. What is our learning target for success? I'm your state certified driving instructor. Testing is in progress. I want to welcome you in. You need to be putting questions in right now. So when we're driving, people are not people. They are pedestrians. A pedestrian is a person who is not driving a car. Pedestrians always have the right of way. Sometimes pedestrians don't walk at the corner. It's called jaywalking. They walk between cars. You as a driver need to yield. You need to slow down. We always talk about defensive driving. Let's continue. Dealing with aggressive drivers. So much value here. So, example, Ethan becomes anxious and frustrated when he's confronted with an aggressive driver. All of you will have this if you drive long enough. Who tailgates him and honks repeatedly. This makes Ethan unsure on how to manage the situation. I'm going to tell you how you manage this situation. You maintain your speed. Eventually, tailgaters will change a lane and go around you. You don't want to speed up because you're going to lose your space cushion. I know it sounds funny, but it's not funny. You're going to lose your space cushion when you are driving. You can only protect the space in front of you, not behind you. Maintain a safe distance and take your time. The middle lane is the safest lane. If you can drive in the middle lane, do that. But sometimes you have to drive in the right lane. You have cars pulling out in front of you. You have pedestrians walking out in front of you. You have delivery trucks parking in front of you. You want to maintain great speed. You want to be safe and have that space cushion. Hey, what is our learning target for success? Why teens struggle with driving? If you're tuning in right now, you need this. You need to put your comments in. I'm a state certified driving instructor. Testing is in progress. I want to welcome you in. So let's continue. Understanding vehicle technology, so important. Example, Ava struggles to use her car's advanced systems. Good afternoon. How you doing today? So this helps you understand a lot of cars have lane departure. Their steering wheel might shake. You might have flashers that come on. And adaptive cruise control. If you're driving along, your car will speed up or slow down based on the distance of traffic. Sometimes this can be overridden unintentionally. What I need you guys to do is read that owner's manual. I need you to be safe. And then when you understand the owner's manual, go out and drive. Have your mom, have your dad, have your caregiver help you understand. Okay? You're 35. You need to be watching my content. I'm going to show you how to drive. I'm going to help you learn how to drive. And you need to be following. You need to be doing all these things right now. I'm going to be the one that's going to help you. Why? I'm very passionate about driving, and I'm blessed to be here. And what is our learning target? Why teens or adults struggle with driving. Testing is in progress. I want to welcome you in. I'm a state certified driving instructor. Let's go ahead and talk about this. Navigating parking lots. Let's talk about this. In navigating parking lots, NOAA finds busy parking lots very overwhelming. Your school parking lot, very overwhelming. You come in just before the bell, the seniors are parked, the juniors are parked, you're a freshman. You got to park across the street around the corner. It's true. As a result, you feel overwhelmed. If you park too far away, you're going to be late. And I want to help you understand how to become a good driver. We're going to talk about all these things today and so much more. Drop a rose, drop a comment, drop a like. You are getting real value right now because what is our learning target for success? Why teens, why adults struggle with driving. I'm a state certified driving instructor, testing in progress. I want to welcome you in. Let's keep it going, baby. So parking lots are very dangerous. We have pedestrians. We have people going the wrong way in the parking lot, going too fast in the parking lot. Simmer down, calm down, take your time. Time. You want to avoid cars. You want to avoid pedestrians. We drive on the right side of the road. Countries, India, the UK, they drive on the left. So you want to know what side you're on. You want to go slow. You want to be scanning left, middle, right. Left, middle, right. You're watching cars. You're watching people. Take your time. Time. Adhering to road etiquette. A lot of these questions I'm getting is road etiquette. How do you behave on the road? Do you cut everyone off? No. Do you run every light? No. You have etiquette. You learned this as a young child. Pull your seat up to the table. Use your fork. Wipe your mouth with a napkin. When you're driving, drive at a safe speed. Cover your brake. Let people who are waiting in a driveway to pull out. I'm going to show you. Why? Here we go. Next, etiquette. Example, Grace is unaware of the unwritten rule of road etiquette. Examples such as waving to say thank you if someone lets you in, right? Letting another driver merge. Courteous. Leading to minor frustration and misunderstandings with other drivers. You as a beginning driver, you need to be watching this. You need to be following this. You need to be asking questions. What is our learning target? Success. Why teens struggle with driving? Why adults struggle with driving? Why does the whole public struggle with driving? I'm a state certified driving instructor. Testing is in progress. I want to welcome you in. You put your questions in and they're going to get answered. Let's talk about jumping or judging safe gaps in traffic. Another thing that will make beginning drivers nervous. what I need you to do. Example, Sophia has a difficult time judging safe gaps in traffic. What is a gap? A gap is a space. Beginning drivers don't judge distance properly, right? It is so important, and it's really important. And this is not funny because we're talking about real life driving. So let's be positive. Sophia has a difficult time judging safe gaps in traffic. As a result, she hesitates. You wait too long. You pull out very slow. This is real. So what I need you to do is make sure you have a lot of room. When it's clear, turn in the nearest lane. By turning in the nearest lane, you facilitate a smoother flow of traffic. You're not cutting off cars, and traffic can continue moving forward. The DMV test is hard if you don't listen to this information, if you don't follow me, and if you don't practice. So you need to be following me. Why? What is our learning target for success? Why teens and adults struggle with driving? I'm going through every example. I'm giving you personal examples. You should be writing this down. This is value, real value. So judging distance, a lot of beginners pull out in front of cars. That's an automatic failure on your road test. A lot of beginners don't stop when there's a red light, when they're making a right turn on red. You have to stop. S-T-O-P. You look left. Or a car's coming. Glad I stopped. Or a car's not coming, but there's a pedestrian. You have to learn to look to the left at oncoming cars, look to the right to make sure it's clear. That's one of the most important things that beginning drivers don't do. Adapting to new environments. Let's talk about this. When you're adapting to new environments, going downtown, driving on a main thoroughfare, merging on an expressway, three-point turnarounds, roundabouts, you are getting such good value right now. Let's go ahead and listen, okay? Why? I got you. All you got to do is listen. So adapting to new environments. Lima panics when she hears sirens and flashing lights. We all do. We're like, oh my God. But it's an ambulance. It's a police car. What I need you to do is pull over to the right side of the road. If you can't pull over, you slow down. Don't slam your brakes because you'll get rear-ended. Police cars, ambulances have the right to circumvent traffic, to drive in and out of traffic. If you can pull over safely to the right, I need you to do this. Don't panic. Don't slam your brakes because you could get rear-ended. It is the law, and you must pull over to the right. Let's continue. There's so many questions out here. Let's keep answering them. What is our learning target for success? Why teens and adults struggle with driving? I'm a state certified driving instructor. Testing is in progress. I want to welcome you in. You put your questions in. I'm going over them and answering them right now. So let's talk about adapting to newer environments. Isabella struggles when driving in new cities. Downtown Detroit, Michigan. Downtown Los Angeles, California. Downtown Houston, Texas. Downtown Atlanta, Georgia. Each of these places I mentioned have different traffic rules. They're large metropolitan areas. You as the driver, slow down. Take your time. Go with the flow of their traffic. Stay focused on what's in front of you. And once you start relaxing and focusing, you're going to become a good driver. It's gradual exposure. Let's continue. Let's talk about construction zones. They're 45 miles an hour, unless otherwise noted. If you go over 45, you could get a ticket. We don't want to risk injuring our construction workers because they work very hard to build up our roads. Let's continue. Mason is unsure how to navigate road construction. It's a common question. And road construction zones, which leads to confusion and close calls with barriers and workers. Just what I talked about. I need you to stay in your lane. You're going to see barrels to your right. You're going to see people working. If you look at the barrels, the car is going to veer to the barrels. Relax. Take your time. Gradual exposure. Let's continue. Let's talk about using headlights properly. So much value. Example, what is our learning target? Why teens and adults struggle with driving? You have questions, you put them in. I'm a state certified driving instructor. Testing is in progress. I want to welcome you in. Daniel is caught off guard when a deer suddenly crosses the road. He doesn't know how to react appropriately. Squeeze your brakes. We never want to veer for the deer. Veer and deer rhyme. So you don't want to veer for the deer. Okay? You want to flash your lights, honk your horn, but don't veer for the deer. It's so important that you understand this. So much value right now. Next, let's talk about using turn signals properly. A lot of beginning drivers don't use the blinker or turn signal. They turn it on too early or they turn it on too late. This leads to confusion of other drivers. Hey, what are they doing? Are they turning here? And people slow down. Or if you turn it on too early, they don't know where you're turning. Or if you turn it on too late, you're going to have drivers behind you slamming brakes. And if your instructor notices that, they're going to tell you on your road test. If you're not practicing those proper things, you will reduce and almost fail. So what do? Example, Lily often forgets to use her turn signal. We're going to talk about this. Lily needs to use the turn signal early, 100 feet or half a block. This leads to confusion and increased risk of accidents. So all of you who are watching, use your turn signal early, use it often. This is really important. Interpreting road markings. What is our learning target? Why teens struggle with driving? I'm a state certified driving instructor. Testing is in progress. I want to welcome you in. Put in those questions. So, interpreting road markings. Ella is confused by different road markings. Broken yellow line, solid yellow lines, solid white lines, solid broken lines, yellow line on the right, that's called the edge line, warning line or yellow line on the left. These lines give the driver information. Ella is confused about the different road markings. She doesn't understand bike lanes, bus lanes, and sometimes inadvertently drives in restricted areas. You're driving in a bike lane. No, 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 no. You're driving in a bus lane. No, 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 no. You need to understand, you might see a picture of a bus in the lane. You might see the picture of a bike in the lane. Many areas across the country are having an open air design. What does this mean? You're going to be sharing the roadway with bikes. You're going to be sharing the roadway with buses. So you really need to focus on understanding your pavement markings, what they mean. And you need to be looking at my account. Just Pass the License says thanks for your, hey, I appreciate you. Drop some hearts, drop some likes. Let's continue. Let's talk about handling blind intersections. So much value right now. Consider me your driver's education uncle. We're going to be talking about this, and you put in your questions. Understanding and identifying blind intersections. Here we go. Example, James feels nervous when approaching blind intersections where there's limited visibility, unsure of what to do. You want to proceed with caution. You want to look left. You want to look right. Look to the left, look to the middle, look to the right. If you're not sure, slow down. Cover your brake. Take your time. Time. Let's continue. Parking in tight spaces. I get a lot of questions on this. Maneuverability. I got you. What is our learning target? Why teens struggle with driving? I'm your state certified driving instructor. Testing is in progress. I want to welcome you in. So we're talking about tight driving spaces. Example, Madeline has trouble parking in tight spots. She often needs multiple attempts to try to park. You feel stressed. You're about to hit other cars. Take your time. Look at my content. Leave questions. I read those comments and I will reply back to you because I care. You got to learn to go slow. If your car can't fit in a certain spot, you need to drive around the block, find an area where your car fits. You don't want to squeeze your car into a spot because someone will hit your bumper, they'll sideswipe your mirror, You want to have room because we all care about our cars, but we do not want to force our car into a small spot. Understanding vehicle limits. So much value right now. Let's keep going. Example, Ethan drives an older car and doesn't fully understand the limitations. Example, takes longer to stop, slower reaction time, and this leads to unsafe driving. Ethan, we're going to help you right now. Ethan, I need you to do research on your car. If it's a 2005, a 2010, a 1998, do research on your car. Read about your car. Leave questions for me so I can do research so I can help you. Don't be scared to learn about your car. Learn where the spare tire is. Learn where the hazard markers are. Learn about the adaptive cruise control. So much value right now. Identifying road hazards. This is another thing that leads to frustration and anxiety. I'm taking the time right now in this live to explain to you how you become a good driver. You need to be sharing this with your friends. Let's talk about this. Identifying road hazards. Chloe struggles in identifying road hazards. Potholes, debris, animals. This leads to an increased risk of spinning out, of losing control. You need to be asking your instructor, can you tell me some of the hazards on the road? Sure, we're all social people. And when you talk to your instructor and ask him or her, can you show me some of the hazards? They will show you. You're going to have better communication with your instructor, better communication with your mom and dad, and they will appreciate you more, and you're less likely to spin out and lose control. What is our learning target? Our learning target is why teens struggle while driving. Potholes are a major area of concern. You can bend your rim, you can blow out your strut, you can blow out your tire. As young drivers, drive around those potholes. You don't want to compress the tire because if you compress the tire on the rim, your tire will split and then you'll have a blowout. Look at my content. I have some incredible potholes to show you. Let's continue. Adjusting to different traffic patterns. Luke finds it challenging to adjust to different traffic patterns. Example, driving in the city, driving in a suburban area, driving out in a rural area. Those areas require different skill sets. I need you to take your time. It's called gradual exposure. If you have anxiety, you need to be listening to me. If you're not sure what to do, you need to be listening to me. What is our learning target for success? Why teens struggle with driving? I'm a state certified driving instructor. Testing is in progress. I want to welcome you in. You put your questions in right now. So adjusting to different patterns, you might have to go a little slower, you might have to go a little faster, you might have to keep more room. Driving is very fluid. It's not static. That stays the same. You might have to go a little faster. You might have to go a little slower. You might have to cover your brake. You might have to get to the left. You might have to get to the right. It's so important that you understand this. Let's keep going. Using your mirrors properly. If you have anxiety, you need to be listening to this. Example, Maya doesn't regularly check her mirrors. Maya, here's what's going to happen. This is going to lead to close calls. You swerving in the cars. You drifting out of your lane. You need to, if you're making a lane change, you check your center mirror, your side mirror, you look over your shoulder. You have to check your mirrors. You got to do those mirror checks. So important. Hey, let's talk about handling roundabouts. Roundabouts. Example, Isabella is unfamiliar with toll roads. This is where you have to pay money to go on the road and gets frustrated when approaching a toll booth. Is unsure how to pay with cash or electronic tokens. Whatever city or state or country you live in, you need to do some research. Mom and Dad, am I on the toll road? Honey, we live on the toll road. I already put money on your phone. You just open up the app, let them scan your QR code. You're good to go. You need to understand what a toll road is. And that money that is used for the road, that will prepare work on the road, is so important. What is our learning target for success? Why teens struggle with driving. Let's continue. I'm a state certified driving instructor. I teach teens and adults. Class is in session. I want to welcome you in. Recognizing when to yield. Remember we talked about this earlier? Beginning drivers struggle with stop signs, yield signs. You're like, I kind of know what to do, but he didn't go over that real good. Well, I'm going to go over it right now. Recognize when to yield. Sophia often misinterprets situations where she yields to other drivers, leading to near-miss collisions. This is why so many of you have anxiety. You don't understand yield versus stop. You don't have your mirrors adjusted properly. Please listen to this. This is why a lot of you have anxiety, because you're not properly coached. You're not properly prepared. You don't understand a stop sign versus a yield sign. You don't have your mirrors adjusted properly. You're driving at night and your headlights are dirty. Your windshield is dirty. Take a moment. Step back. Follow me. Put questions in. You will get those answered. So much value. Let's continue. Example, Liam doesn't maintain a safe following distance. That's going to give you anxiety because cars are stopping and you're tailgating other cars, resulting in a near rear-end collision in a car in the front of him that stops suddenly. Beginning drivers tend to tailgate because you don't understand spatial orientation, depth perception. You are learning so much right now. You got to have depth perception. You got to have room. It's a car length for every 10 miles an hour. If you're going 30, 3 car lengths. It's important that you understand, because when you follow the law, you never get pulled over. Good drivers are always prepared. They have a defensive mindset. They follow the law. So you don't have to worry about being pulled over. Next, dealing with emotional drivers. As a young driver, you're emotional. Oh my God, I got to take my test. Oh my God, I got a game today. Oh my God, I have my final. Oh my God, I got to drive home. So you as a driver need to take a step back. Gradual exposure. So much value. Dealing with emotional drivers. Grace drives while upset. After an argument, Grace, you should not drive when you're upset. You're going to drive more aggressive. You're going to drive more fast. This affects your concentration and decision making. If you're upset, you should not drive. You want to have one of your friends drive you home. Take the car home, because you do not want to drive upset. Hey, what is our learning target for success? Why teens struggle while driving? I'm a state certified driving instructor. Testing is in progress. I want to welcome you in. You are learning so much right now. You put your questions in. Handling large vehicles, semi-trucks. Big trucks have 4 blind spots: left side, right side, front, and back. Say it with me. Left side, right side, front, and back. You as a driver, if you have to pass, you want to pass on the left. That blind spot or no zone is the smallest one. I've already answered about parking lots, but I'm going to give you an example. Cover your brake. Drive slow. Stay in the middle right. Look for pedestrians walking across. Look for people backing up. You've got to scan left, middle, right, left, middle, right, left, middle, right. If you're not looking, you're going to back into someone. You're going to hit someone, and it's much easier to pull out than back out, because a lot of beginning drivers, you look at your backup camera, but you're not looking over your shoulder, and you just hit your friend's Corvette. Corvette. Let's continue. Ryan feels nervous while driving around large vehicles, such as buses and trucks, unsure how to share the road with them. Usually those large trucks and buses are staying in the right lane. I need you to drive in the middle lane. One of our viewers talked about this. You want to keep good space, because if you tailgate, you're going to keep hitting the brake, keep hitting the brake, keep hitting the brake, keep more room. I call it have good speed, have good space, and smile. If you're tailgating and driving on top of someone, they feel uncomfortable. They feel threatened. Back off. More space, more time, and you will smile. Next, using highway exits and entrances. So important. You should be writing this information down. You need to be telling your friends to join this live right now. Using highway entrances and exits. Example, Chloe struggles with speed. All of you will. You're going to go too slow merging on. They're traveling at 60. You're merging on at 50. Too slow. They're traveling at 70. You're merging on at 60. Too slow. Your instructor should be educating you. You push the gas on the on-ramp and accelerate out. That's what I need you to do, is pick up speed, accelerate out. You should not interrupt the flow of the traffic. Either you're going to go over the top of cars and merge out, or you're going to go behind them and merge behind them. Traffic on the interstate or expressway has the right of way. We understand this. And as beginning drivers, you do drive slow. But as you drive slow, you're going to become a hazard. So don't be a hazard. Pick up your speed, go with the flow of the traffic, because you don't want to cause an accident. What is our learning target for success? Why teens and adults struggle with driving. I'm explaining to you what to do. I'm a state certified driving instructor. Testing is in progress. I want to welcome you in. So you have to be aware. Driving is hard when you don't practice. Driving is hard when you don't pay attention to your instructor. Driving is hard when you lose focus. Focus on one thing. Your instructor is kind, patient, and will tell you ahead of time what you're doing. Part of my job is to explain to you what's going on. Part of your job is to focus on the road. And when you take the time to listen to me and follow, you're going to learn so much. You should be following because you're going to learn. A lot of people pop in and pop out, but you need to believe in me. Why? I'm a state certified driving instructor. I teach teens and adults. And we're not only showing you stuff, we're answering your questions. So we're talking about dealing with highway entrances and exits. You got to pick up your speed. You got to be ready to what's going. You got to be ready to what's going on. And I'm not Mr. Road Ready. I'm totally a different person. I do know him, but you got the wrong person right now, so we're spreading misinformation, okay? You need to understand what I'm about. And every person and content creator is different. I show you examples, I'm explaining examples, but everyone is different. Let's continue talking about this. So you're driving on an expressway. It takes timing. If you don't get up to speed fast enough, cars are going to tailgate you and swerve out of the way. On your road test, if you don't merge out properly, automatic failure. Beginning drivers go too slow on the ramp. And if you go too slow on the ramp, you're not going to learn proper speed control. And when you're getting off the expressway, you go too fast. So it takes about 15 to 20 minutes. Your instructor should be getting you on and off a minimum of 5 to 7 times. So if your instructor's taking you on once, you didn't learn. Twice, maybe something. 3, okay. The more your instructor takes you on, the more you're going to learn. Good instructors are patient. They're kind. They explain everything to you. They don't judge you compared to the person behind you. I'm a good instructor because I'm going to take the time to explain it. And a lot of you have misinformation, but I'm here and I'm going to help you. Next, reading maps and directions. A lot of you don't read maps and directions because you've never done this before. You've watched mom, you've watched dad. Now you're driving on your own. Downtown Detroit, Michigan. Downtown Houston, Texas. Downtown Los Angeles, California. Downtown Washington, D.C. Very overwhelming areas. Example, Daniel relies heavily on your GPS. You're going to be looking at your phone. You're going to be looking at your GPS, but you need to be looking at the road. And this leads to frustration. And if your GPS malfunctions, you're lost. So this leads to you not being confident. This leads to you going on the wrong way. This leads to you getting lost. You need to be listening. What is our learning target for success? Why teens and adults struggle with driving? I'm a state certified driving instructor. I teach teens and adults. Testing is in progress. I want to welcome you and consider this your driver's education class. Your uncle explaining things, giving you personal examples. If this brings you value, you know what to do. Let's continue. Let's talk about road rage. A lot of you who drive too slow, you're going to create road rage. Example, lately encounters an aggressive driver and doesn't know how to handle the situation. You guys don't know how to handle this situation. So you go slower. This leads to increased stress and unsafe driving. Go at the speed and the flow of the traffic. Don't stare at the speedometer. Look ahead and aim high. If you're taking driver's education tomorrow, bring a notebook. Take good notes. Sit up front. Be first in class. I'm a driving instructor, and I look for people who are leaders. Remember, bosses don't talk, they listen. I'm going to say it again. Bosses don't talk, they listen. You need to be listening to your instructor. You need to be asking questions. I do these things. Dealing with traffic signals. So important. Let's talk about this. You're dealing with traffic signals. Example, Jamie gets confused by complex traffic patterns, such as flashing yellow arrows leading to hesitation and incorrect actions. All the questions you're asking me, I'm going over these things, and I'm helping you understand. You need to take particular time when you're in your driver's education class or looking at my content. That is a blinking yellow light. What does that mean? Proceed with caution. That is a blinking red light. What does that mean? Stop. That is a green arrow. What does that mean? Proceed. That is a flash or yelling arrow. Proceed with caution. I have a red arrow. That means stop. If you don't understand the information, you need to be talking to your instructor. You need to be putting questions in. You need to ask questions. Don't be scared to ask questions. Next, let's talk about navigating through construction. Nathan gets stressed while driving through construction zones and changing traffic patterns. This leads to mistakes. Go slower, take your time, increase your following distance so you can see what's going on. You're trying to scan left, you're trying to scan in the middle, you're trying to scan to the right. I need you to take your time. Time. Let's continue. What is our learning target for success? Why teens struggle with driving? Why do they? Hey, I'm a state certified driving instructor. Testing is in progress. I want to welcome you in. I'm going to the Kia Boys Don't Matter because that's old. Let's talk about now. Flash floods. Emma encounters a flash flood and isn't sure what to do. You don't want to drive in flash floods. You want to get over because your car could be swept away. Don't drive when there are flash floods. Stay aware, calm down, and be ready to go because it's real life out here. Emergency vehicle protocol. What do you do when an emergency vehicle comes? I'm going to tell you. Examples. Mark panics when he hears an ambulance approach. We all do. You're like, oh my God, this ambulance. Slow down. Check your rear mirror. Try to get over to the right if possible. If you can't, take your time. And when you don't understand what's going on, this leads to confusion and frustration. We're about helping you. I'm about helping you solve a problem. To learn why teens struggle with driving. Peer pressure. Let's talk about this. Example, Alex feels pressure to speed and show off while driving. All of you will have this. This leads to risky behavior. Tell your friends, I'm not doing that. Take your time. Be patient. Next, let's talk about learning how to drive a manual transmission. You need to learn how to have and push in the clutch with your left foot. You need to work timing between your shifter and your clutch. You push your clutch in, you push the shifter up to 1, you push the gas. Then when the car's up to about 10, you push the clutch in, you shift to 2. Then you accelerate it up to about 35 or 40, you push the clutch in, you accelerate to 3. Once you feel comfortable driving, it will become automatic, no pun intended. So Emma struggles learning how to drive a stick shift and often stalls the car. You have to practice and take your mom or dad out. Learn how to practice in a parking lot. Learn how to practice in your neighborhood. Don't go on main roads when you're hesitating, stalling the car out because you're going to lead to road rage, other drivers getting frustrated, and you're going to be a panicked mess. Let's talk about parallel parking tips. A lot of you have questions about this. What is our learning target for success? Why teens and adults struggle with driving? I'm a state certified driving instructor. Testing is in session. I want to welcome you in. You put in your questions. We're talking about parallel parking. John has a difficult time parallel parking. You need to learn to judge the space. You need to learn to take your time. Your maneuverability is low. If you don't know how to turn the wheel slowly and cover the brake, you're going to be very close to a parked car. If you don't cover the brake when you reverse into a spot, you could hit the car behind you or go over the curb. Beginning drivers struggle with maneuverability, Corey. And if you struggle with maneuverability, you will have anxiety. You want to take your time, drive slow, learn how to control your car in tight, small spaces. Okay, let's continue. Lily frequently checks her phone while driving. Lily, no, 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 no. Lily, you're going to have an increased chance of rear-ending a car. Take your time. Cover the brake. Hands free. We are about safety. Next, let's talk about navigating roundabouts. Example, Mark finds roundabouts confusing. They are confusing, but your uncle will show you what to do. Roundabouts. You want to yield to traffic already in the roundabout. If you have to go to the right, just before you get in, you turn on your right indicator, which is up. You yield to cars in traffic in the roundabout. Then you get over into the right and you accelerate out. Night driving challenges. Sarah feels uncomfortable driving at night due to poor visibility. Sarah, what I need you to do is clean those headlights, clean your windshield, make sure your windows are clean, make sure your headlights are clean, stay in the right lane. You can use the edge lines, you can use the fog lines. Yes, he is doing well. Continue. Driving cannot be complicated because you overcomplicate it. If you listen to what I'm saying and I'm giving you examples, you take one thing at a time. The biggest complication is students and adults are not prepared. Your instructor did not teach you properly. You did not listen in class properly. When you're driving, your instructor will be guiding you, showing you what to do. It's so important that you listen to the instructor, just like all of you listen to me. Bye.